You're watching It's Life Live with your hosts, Juan Lee and Oliver Marcel. Come join us for enriching, enlightening, encouraging, and thought-provoking conversation. Let's go.
Here I am. How you doing, everybody? Oh, it's been a while since I've been here, and myself and Oliver have been away. I know I have been sick for a bit. I appreciate you all hanging in there with us. Today, it looks like I'm gonna be on my own. We're gonna muddle on through this, but welcome to It's Life Live, presented by Clear Journey. Clear Journey is a nonprofit that supports individuals in challenges in life, and that means any type of challenges. If you're looking for answers in life challenges, Clear Journey is here to help you through it. We deal with 8 areas, and that's what we do to basically help people navigate life more successfully. My name is Juan Lee. I am the founder. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, and I'm a thought leader. And so we'll be talking tonight with a guest that we have here with us. But before we get to that, just want to tell you a little bit about what we've been going on, what's going on with Clear Journey. We have, just to give you some ideas of what's going on, we have a book that we would like to let you know that we have. It's a guide, a free guide that we have. It's about getting a budget together. Now, we talk about various things here in 8 areas, and finances is one of the things that we talk about. We have a book that we would like as an ebook. It's called Budgeting Made Easy, the guide to taking charge of your money. It's a free gift. All we have to do is go to clearjourney.org and just say that you want it, just accept it, just put in that you want it, and we'll send it to you right away, ebook. Also, we have coming up in August the 8th, we have a master class. I'm doing a master class. It's on how to shift your fixed mindset to a growth mindset. That's something that we're doing once a month. We did one in June, July, and we're going to be doing another one in August. It's going to be on August the 8th. It's also free. Just go to the website, clearjourney.org, and register for the masterclass. It is free to join. We look forward to you coming there, being there with us, and that's what it's all about. So again, like I said, my name's Juan Lee, and we are thankful and happy that you're here with us. If you're here with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, welcome. If this is your first time, please give us a thumbs up and say that you like our podcast, because it really helps us in being able to continue to do what we do for the community. So by all means, and subscribe. By all means, you can go over to Clear Journey, subscribe to our community over there, but also to our YouTube channel, and subscribe there. Also, just to give you heads up, I know we've been off seems like all month of July, but we're going to be off in August. That was something that was planned to be off in August. But what we're going to be doing in August is that we're going to be running some episodes from It's Life. It's Life's first series, first season. That's the original first season of It's Life. Now, It's Life Live came out of It's Life. And what we're going to be doing is giving some people a little bit of some background as to how It's Life Live became It's Life Live, because we wanted to be more engaging. But at the same time, It's Life, it's probably going to come back. We have some episodes, a second season that is going to be coming out. We have it all. We've put it all together. It's just that we haven't put that season out yet. But what we're going to do is going to run some episodes of our first season of It's Life. So look forward to that. It's going to be in the same time slot. And so we're just looking forward to you getting a little bit of an insight back into the foundation of It's Life Live. It gives you a little bit of a better get a better of an input on where we started and how we got started. But that being said, I don't want to then hold up our guests. We have two um, advocates that have been working in the area of community services, family services, and they are going to be here to help us to understand and enlighten us a lot more in the services that are available to all of us if necessary, but to really just give us some insight on what it's all about and the mindset that we want to be able to be conscious of. And this is one of the things that we talk about here. We talk about the love mindset. The love mindset that we are talking about tonight, that's going to engulf what we're talking about, or basically encompass what we're talking about, is the mindset of humility, and understanding that whenever you need help, we've got to be able to understand it's okay to ask for help. And so when we think about what we're going to be talking about tonight, just think about that. You know, we're all in a situation that nobody is out here on this journey by themselves. And what we're going to learn tonight, hopefully, from our guests, is that there are people here that are here to help you. So without further ado, we're going to bring on our guest um, to the stage. It is Dr. Hughes-Holt and Jennifer Sally. Did I get that right? Did I get that right? No, Jerry Sally.
Jerry
Jerry
Sally.
Sally.
Jerry
I know,
Sally.
I know. I'm sitting up here. I knew a Jerry with the G, and I'm sitting up here and I go, Jerry goes, Gary. You know, it's Jerry Sally.
Jerry, yes.
Welcome to It's Life Live. Thank you for being here tonight with me. It's very excited. I want to apologize to both of you again for having to reschedule. I know we were planning to do this some weeks ago, but I fell ill, and unfortunately, I ducked and dodged COVID for 2 years. You know, and I mean, we ducked and dodged it for 2 years. I mean, I guess from 20 to 24 until recently, and then it caught us, caught me and my wife. So it's something, you know, it's still something, to be honest with you. But that being said, thank you for being here, and hopefully we can have a conversation of thing about, hey, about realizing that nothing that's in the community is not, it's not too much, that we all can't reach out to each other and say, okay, where do I need help? And you two ladies can lead us down that road as it relates to the family services that are available for all of us in the community. And introduce yourselves to us first. Dr. Holt, tell us about yourself.
All right. Well, hello to all of our listeners out there. I am Dr. Lauren Hughes-Holt, affectionately known as L. I have worked in health and human services since about 2007. Um, I have a doctorate in traumatology and community work. I have a master's in human services and organizational social services and a bachelor's in applied behavior. So it is my pleasure to come and shed some light on what exactly it means to be poverty stricken and to work within the community within gentrification. And I also have with me my co-host, Miss Jerry Sally, and I'll allow her to introduce herself as well.
Hello there. I am Jerry Sally. I have worked in health and hu- hu- human services for about the 30-year time frame. Prior to that, I did a lot of volunteer work with my church. And basically my look on life has always been that at one point point in time, we will all need help. Therefore, we should always seek a way to help others.
Well, thank you, and both of you for coming tonight and being able to share that with us. We really, really appreciate it. So, I guess that we can get this started off is that, for instance, I hear Jerry what brought you into it. Can you, Dr. Holt, tell us what drove you to? I mean, for the numerous degrees that you have in this particular area, what caused you to get in this area?
Dealing with people. My first job, I worked for the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. I worked for the WIC program, an amazing place because I could take my son to work with me. So where most people would struggle with a babysitter, I didn't have to. I was able to bring my son to work. And from there, my career took off. But in order to help people in the community, you have to understand them. And so when people talk about becoming a doctor, people generally think of the person who tends to your boo-boos. I need a band-aid, I scraped my knee, I broke my arm. But in my specific profession, I'm a doctor of the mind. So if you have a boo-boo that's up here, you can't think straight, you need to be redirected and pointed into a place of self-sufficiency. That is where I come in. And so that has been my goal over the course of 15 years, is to become a better resource to people, because a lot of times people do not see people that look like them outside of their local community doing good things. And they also don't see people that look like them in partnership with people that don't look like them out in their local community. So being that familiar, friendly face, as you can see in the background, I have tattoos, I wear t-shirts. Sometimes I comb my hair, but I want, when they come to see me for whatever they may need, that they understand that I'm a real person too, and I have those real life struggles. So,
Well, hey, I think everybody needs to identify with someone that's going to be able to help them. I mean, that's the first thing that really draws a person to another person. And you and Jerry have been working collectively, or how have you all worked over the years? Jerry, you want to take this up?
Oh, sure. So I will say that Lauren and I have worked together for about a 2 year period now. However, prior to that, I have worked in the human service. Well, let me first say that it's funny that my degree was in economics, and prior to coming to human services, I was working in the banking field, and primarily dealing with loans and mortgages and home buying. But a lot of the customers I dealt with had money. They were not those starting out. They were oftentimes second time home buyers. So I sort of backed into the human service field, and it gave me it sort of gave me, based upon where I came from, where I worked, it gave me a different desire or a different mindset how to help others that may not have had as much as the working or middle class, I should say, the middle class have. So I come from finance, but I draw on that when I'm working in the public service realm. and Lauren also draws on that as well. So I'll let her talk about that.
Well, that's very interesting because that was one of the things that I worked in mortgages and
Yes.
financial services,
Yeah.
and it was amazing that area is very underserved in a lot of communities. And
Yes.
so I found that they were unable to, and this is something, finances is something that's important in all industry. I mean, in all areas of your life. And when you're unable to manage those funds, it has a tendency to trickle down in other areas of your life, and it impacts other areas of your life. And so when you started saying that was something that you saw that allowed you to get into human services, I can see that, because that's something that will show its ugly head in other areas of your life that will impact. And it comes down to the point of how you're managing your money in many cases.
Yes.
But yeah, so that being said, I just wanted to throw that in there because I think that's one of the foundations of Clear Journey, is to be financially illiterate, and being able to know how to manage your money and how it impacts so many other areas of your life. So tell us, what are some of the greater challenges that you all have been facing in this space over the years that you all have been involved in this?
I'd say it's a lack of understanding. So as I share with people as they come through various programs that may be state, federal, county, pro bono services, that poverty is identified by 6 types. So, as you mentioned when we first started about being out during COVID, that's situational poverty. That's something that's generally caused by a crisis. Sometimes people have death in their family. It's caused by a loss. It could be divorce. For those of us who type every day, we may be diagnosed with carpal tunnel. Of course, we're in hurricane season. People are being displaced from their homes. So that's situational poverty. You have generational poverty, where 2 or more generations are born into poverty and they don't really have the tools to get out of poverty. The goal is just, hey, I turned 18, so I'm going to go down to housing and now I'm going to get my place because my mom got her place. But there's not really an urgency to get out of those places. And, those are generally people who trickle through our services as a revolving door because they want to do better. But if you've never been told that better exists, it's kind of hard for you to break a mold that's been instilled in you for a long period of time. You have absolute poverty. Those are generally our homeless transient populations, where they have a scarcity of necessities. They don't have food, running water, or shelter. Those are some of our individuals who are living in many of the vacant homes in Baltimore City that don't have that dollar to buy a shell of a house and fix it up. You have relative poverty. I think that would be me. Most people, that's their economic status. We refer to them as the working poor. We make just enough that our gross doesn't give us anything, but we don't necessarily make enough. So we're those individuals, like Jerry mentioned, who go to get those mortgages and they're like, you can't afford it. But wait, I need to make 3 times the rent. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
We have urban poverty. Urban poverty is very big in Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Prince George's, and Montgomery County, because there are so many resources that people can't pull it in. And if you go to this place, to that place, to this place, they'll all help you with the last $50. Well, if I just spent $250 catching the bus, the train, getting a hack, as they call it, paying people for rides, I really spent what I had to give you. And then in our counties that are further out in Maryland, you have rural poverties. There's not enough of what they need. And as Jerry mentioned, again, with working with her church, those are volunteers. So they're not paid. They're coming out of the goodness of their heart that they want to still be active and do different things. So it makes it hard when you see people, but you don't really see people.
Mhm.
So that's where it takes all of us to recognize those hidden needs and have those conversations that are more facilitating versus accusatory. You
Mhm.
know, I went to help a client to advocate on her behalf, and the lady just said, "Oh, go take a number and sit down." Wait, don't you know what I'm here for? You didn't even say hello, good morning. You just dismissed me. So I've already gone to 6 different places to get here, and
Mhm.
you've dismissed me. I've sat in your lobby for 45 minutes. You call me, and then you tell me I'm not even supposed to be here. I don't have PTO. So if I keep taking off, I'm then going to be fired. How did you help me? And so that's where that community advocacy piece comes in, that being able to work with other organizations and talk amongst ourselves about how we really can make this better. Because gentrifying neighborhoods just puts a band-aid on something that really needs to be explored. Because of course, if we bring in people who have money, money is being spent. That's great. Our economy is booming. But what about the people that are still within those communities that can't read, that don't have access to the tools to read, and we're harping on them about being able to build their asset management, and a lot of programs that people can have access to in the community are supplemental programs, which
Mhm.
means it is to supplement what is already existing in the household. And I'll
Mhm.
let Jerry kind of shed some light on that side.
Yes. So, one of the things I always try to do is to keep a list of resources to help the people I come in contact with. But the one thing that I always tell them is that these organizations do not have unlimited re, re, resources. Therefore, whatever help you get is limited, and it is meant to supplement the dollars you have already put aside for rent, food, utilities, and sometimes it's a one-time payment. It's very few agencies outside the government that will help you each and every month. And that's why budgeting is always my pet peeve. We have to, they, there's a saying that if you fail to plan, then plan to fail. So if you're not planning, then you will fail. Budgeting is key. Resources are limited. Therefore, it is up to you, the person, to do the best you can and whatever you can for yourself, because you may not always be able to get the help that you seek.
Yeah, yeah. I think the various types of the help that we require, we're looking for.
Yeah.
It has to be in conjunction with our ability to be able to be engaged and be responsible and being responsible. I think some of the things that you all are talking about, I like how you all are putting them together, because it is truly a collaboration of resources and individuals, but knowing where to go to get those resources
Mhm.
is important, and feeling that I have a right to them. They're a benefit to me. Is all of the things that you guys are talking about, but it's also being accountable, being responsible. And that's something that Clear Journey is really about, is that about being prepared, doing your part, being prepared for the opportunities to come when they do. And this is where resources come, because the things at Clear Journey, we talk about education and resources. And so here, what are some of the collaborative agencies and programs do you all have available to the communities?
Well, it first starts at the head for the state of Maryland, because the head tells the body how to move. So I don't want to get too political, because our watchers may be on either side of the spectrum. But shout out to Wes Moore as our governor. He passed the Enough Act, which is an initiative not only to help children that could potentially be in poverty or to get them out of poverty, but it is designed to help the whole family. He also recently passed plain language, so that the information that is being sent out to various constituents across the state, for whatever services they may require, it's in a language in which they understand. Because if I say that you live in urban poverty, you're going to think I'm crazy. But if I say, hey, listen, I know you live in West Baltimore, and the place that I need you to go is on the east side of Baltimore, teeter-tottering on the line of Dundalk, they are more likely to understand. And that's where we have to go as a people, to access services, to streamline it for yourself. I tell people every day, call Maryland 211. They say, well, what's the number to 211? 211. And if you call Maryland 211, not only will you be able to talk to somebody via phone, but you'll be able to have access to all of the resources that you may need, and they're tech savvy. And that is where we're starting to move as a culture. The former governor, Larry Hogan, he passed an initiative for a lot of employers where you don't necessarily need a degree. You may be able to use your education to get into some of those layers of protection. If you notice, over the years, community actions have changed from community action agencies to community action partnerships, because they are in partnership with their community. Words are changing to be more inclusive and to create more safe havens for families, because the world is getting worse, not better. And a lot of that is due to us. If I don't understand why I should pick up my soda bottle when I throw it on the ground, but until my basement floods, or until my grandmama tans my hide because her basement is now flooding because I placed too many plastic bottles in the drain, it becomes real. And a lot of people who make decisions actually have to go into the economically disadvantaged communities. That's right. You have to get out there and go in the trenches. You have to go to Park Heights to see before you make decisions for individuals that you don't know. Because not everybody completes a census survey. So if the 20 people you survey make over $100,000 a year, that's not really representative of the community. So raising taxes for people who may have had homes passed down from their grandparents or great grandparents, you now place them at a disadvantage. We have to really draw down and look at how we're actually helping people, because as I mentioned when we started, if you really only need about a good 580 to buy a house, but you need about 620 to rent a house with 3 times the rent. But people really don't understand that. How are we helping? Who's going to help? And we talk about being in faith-based organizations. Not everybody wants to go to church to receive the help that they need. So that means the church needs to go to the people, because you never know the background or the circumstances in which individuals have stopped going to church, no matter what their faith is. Some people like to watch it on the phone. Some people can't drive. So if you tell me in a food-based resource group, Catch the 76, they give out food on Thursdays, I don't have any legs. I might not have any arms. I can't see. So, you know, people look at disabilities as things that they can see, but if I'm not of sound mind, my body's not going to do anything either. So if I come to you how I come in that moment, that is the best I have to offer you. And how dare you and who are you to treat me as less than or such? So the conversations have to start internally with organizations about, first of all, how they're treating each other as employees. And then that message has to push out into the community. And we have to start hiring some of those people and actually listening. You know, the best expert of the child is the parent. Engage the parent in a conversation with the child and watch how many doors you open instead of just next. You go to the drive-through at Chick-fil-A, my pleasure. They're happy. I don't care what kind of day they had. They might get your order wrong, but they are kind and they are full of spirit and passion. I go to Wendy's. What you want? We ain't got that. The ice cream machine broke if you go to McDonald's. We have to do better collectively. And us as a people, we also have to start speaking out. So if there are public service commission meetings, there are community town halls, there are advisory committees. You need to go and you need to speak. Because if you don't, the people who have the power to make decisions will always speak for you. And if you don't sign up to vote or understand what that is, ask about the process so you have a better understanding, because you also put a hand in how agencies or other people are able to support you. So we also have a responsibility to us and for us to create things for us to help us get better.
Well, I think everything that you said is so on point. I mean, you brought everything into perspective, I think, as it relates to the needs, and that there are multiple needs. And everybody, here's what I heard you say, that everybody has something to share. Everybody has something to offer. Mm-hmm. And no matter, and here's the thing, is as much as being kind is within everybody's purview. Everybody can be kind, and understand that when we're kind one to another, we're able to begin to now build connections and relationships that can serve us all. And it's just that simple. Jerry, what's your take on the totality and how everything is being presented in the community in which you're talking about?
So oftentimes things are fragmented. There's a piece being done on this side, there's a piece being done on that side. But what I always tell people is the best place to start is your local and state representatives. They are there to serve you. They know or should know what the neighborhoods they serve need. So oftentimes they will have information on hand and resources on hand to help you get either what you need or to go where you need to go to get what you need. But also, don't just look to them to get what will aid you to today. They may also have and oftentimes do have resources that will help you in the long run. But keep in mind, it takes effort on your part.
Glad you said that.
Oftentimes, I'm sorry.
I said, I'm glad you said that. It takes
Yes,
effort on your part.
off effort on your part, because oftentimes people either look at only today, or they just expect you to just give it to them. But oftentimes you're not going to get what you need without effort on your part. And that effort on your part oftentimes will benefit you in the long run, especially when it comes to learning and educating yourself about not only resources and programs, but about pro- processes and things that are going on in your community. Also, don't be self focused. You also have to look at what's going on in your neighborhood. Is what's going on in your neighborhood good for your neighborhood? So start with your local and state reps and look at the big picture.
Yeah. As it relates to those services, though, is there anyone those services like those programs that you all can tell us that are available that are probably the ones that are misunderstood or maybe not used that are there for people so that they might be able to know where and how to get those types of programs?
Um, a lot of, I'll start with the most obvious in the education system. Utilizing your medical assistance properly. Uh, for Baltimore City, because that's our largest population generally in the state of Maryland. People don't understand behavior. We have a lot of children who are on ADHD medication, depression medication, and if you think about it from a sliding scale, a lot of children have a high level of lead. So the behaviors that warrant receiving those ADHD medications and some of those depression medications are symptoms of active lead poisoning. So being able to utilize your medical assistance to receive habilitative services, which is being able to learn things that you didn't know before, and to receive rehabilitative services, which is to focus and drill down on things that you're already doing, but you're kind of regressing in that skill and you need to learn it more. I think another misunderstood program would be energy assistance. In that realm aspect, people assume that, oh my God, I have a turn off notice and I should apply. I mean, if you qualify, they will do their best to help you. But as that being an asset management program, you want to apply before it even becomes a crisis, because there are asset management tools designed within that program to help you regulate your bill. And if you're on a fixed income or you have a situation that you know your income's going to decrease, that's a good program to utilize. We have PAC programs. PAC programs are designed to help with medical expenses within reason. We have another highly misunderstood program is our SNAP program. Most people refer to it as food stamps, so they miss it by its definition as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's supplemental nutrition. So yes, I know you want the Fruit Loops, but try to buy the brand, make it work a little bit, stretch it out. But it's a supplemental nutrition assistance program, which means it's not gonna give you everything you need in that month, but it is designed to help you, you know. And a large program that is overlooked are our TFAT programs. You know, that emergency food, those food boxes that, as they call them in the community, that's an additional resource to help supplement your SNAP, aka your food stamp assistance. Like, go utilize that information so that you're able to get more out of your benefit. Because a lot of programming, whether it be the state or the federal government, really count on your participation. And so if you're not participating or you're not actively following rules as they are set by the people when you go into their offices to apply for their assistance, if Nebraska's following the rules, where do you think the government's going to send the money? So as Jerry mentioned, help do your part. Do your part properly. Apply, see what you qualify for, and then ask the questions. How can I make this work for me? Because the first thing people say, oh God, I got those summer benefits. What I'm gonna do with $40? $40 is more than what you had. And if you plan out for that $40, because for those of us, hand raised, because like I told you in the beginning, I'm just like you, that $40 can stretch if you know how to use it. Us poor people, we can tell you to the penny where the money goes and where we need to find another penny on the ground to make it happen.
So let me ask you a question. When you say it's supplemental, that who qualifies for these programs to make it, since it's supplemental? I mean, because like you said, there's a wide spectrum of people who have and how much they have. You know, so what level, who are the people that qualifies for these programs?
It's hard to say because it's the rules are consistent and structured across the board, but every application that those individuals take for a person, the situation is different. So I might be a single person and only make $10 an hour, and I don't qualify, but I might be her coworker who works, but I have 2 children and I qualify, or guess what? It could be vice versa based on the dynamics in the home. So we always tell people that, you know, you have the right to apply for any benefit, any form of subsidy in your state. That's your right. But you also don't have the right necessarily to a benefit depending on where you fall on the spectrum. And so that's why being honest about what your needs are and what the situation is when you come in the first time, because they're trying to help you based off what you've provided. And a lot of times people tell untruths, not because they're committing fraud, but because they're ashamed. I'm ashamed to say, yeah, I might gross, I don't know, $7,000 a month, but I am in a domestic abuse relationship. So I might gross that money. But when I get paid, he waiting on me like, give me that money. And then I don't have anything in the house for myself and my children until I'm able to find other means. So there are conversations that have to be had in that process when people are applying, because you have to be honest.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, there's that honesty. And again, we talked about what the mindset that we have to have as it pertains to these services. And we were talking about humility. You know, we've got to be able to understand that the services are there, but we've got to be honest with ourselves and be open enough to want to be able to allow the system to work for us. Being honest, we've got to be honest with ourselves. So I appreciate you sharing that insight, that perspective, because I think a lot of us think about, you know, like you said, I don't qualify, or why don't I qualify? But the issues of what you're saying is apply and be honest. These are your services. These are your things that you have. One question that I have to ask, are these, you was talking about our governor and the fact that he had done some things. Are there other services that are comparable in other states and not just in Maryland, that if you're in another state, that these are the same kinds of programs? What makes one state different than from another one?
What they call it and what they apply to, you know, every program is different by state, but the overall umbrella, of course, that is held by our federal government, is the same. And so that's why a lot of times when you tell untruths, it comes to light. You know, it might not come to light today, tomorrow, but it'll catch up to you. You know, you have to file taxes. File taxes.
So honesty is something that you need to be very specific and understanding that one way or another it might catch up with you.
Oh yeah.
And you know, accountability, because if you go and place an application somewhere, even for a job, and you don't open the mail when people have corresponded with you, we tend to put ourselves in a rut, because if I get a letter that tells me I have 30 days to do something, and then on day 29, I'm trying to jump in there and root the system, it doesn't work like that. There's a process that has to take place. And of course, being attentive to knowing the parameters of the program. If you know it takes 30 days to receive a form of help, then on day 2, you know, you up there trying to beat the people up, but they're afraid to come to work because you're violent. You know, you kind of, the sword swings both ways. You know, we have to help us do better for us. There is a young man who was a former NFL player. He's Joe Gamble is his name. He works at Chase Bank. He has Chase Bank out in those economically disadvantaged communities, talking about wealth, money, working with community partners to bring things back to his city, not just for any specific race of people, but any person who deems themselves to be in the low income sector. He wants to help. And I think that, you know, like I said, tapping into things that are positive. If you see a community cleanup, go support it. Not because you necessarily want to clean up on your free time or your time off, but that's the time when you can see a lot of service individuals putting the work back into the community to restore it. But then once we restore it, don't tear it up. We riot, we loot, we tear up our own things, and then we say we don't have anything. So again, sometimes we are our own worst enemy.
Yeah. Volunteering is a very important part of identifying, I believe, some of your passions. And so when the opportunity, it presents itself, it's always a good opportunity, a good way of being able to fill yourself out and learn about yourself when you engage and see that, you know, I think some of the things that we often overlook is how fortunate we are.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're able to volunteer, implies that we have something to give, and we have it because we have it to give. If you get what I'm saying, we have something to give. And so, yeah, I think that's very important. And the thing that I want to share, though, is because we live in this DMV area, the Baltimore, Washington, Virginia area, you know, and honesty is something that's very important. And it's very easy for us to live in one part of this DMV at one day or 1 week or 1 year, and then in another state or another area the next week, and be aware that this is one system. When you said the government, so you don't be putting, you know, things, applications in DC and living in Maryland and putting it in Maryland and then moving to DC or into the Virginia. So just, I think if that's the overwhelming thing is that the services are here, but let's not try to play the system, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Would you agree?
Yes. When you play the system, you make it hard for the system to work, because every time you play the system and you commit fraud and money has to be generated to, of course, take care of those issues, we eliminate money, so it all stems from lack of knowledge, because nobody wakes up and says, oh, I want to be addicted to drugs today. I don't want to be able to feed my family today. Like every day people wake up trying to do their best. But again, you have to know that better is achievable. And so when you go into those agencies, we want to help our people be prepared. So, on an advocacy basis, a lot of resource fairs are placed in the community for people to receive support right there in their neck of the woods. There's a large population of people who have received pardons from our governor, Mr. Moore, because some charges are eligible to be expunged off your record. So things that once prevented you from getting a job, you may be eligible to have removed so that you can go and do great work. But again, you have to go seek what you need. And the worst case, they could say, we can't help you, but let us put the ball in the court for you to actually receive the things that you need. And that is how they started working out the no wrong door initiative. Like there's no wrong door here. If we get you, we're gonna see whatever you need right then and there, one stop shop. And then we'll transition and see how we can help you become resilient. Because that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Here today, gone tomorrow. So
that's the life journey, right? Hey, we're coming to the end. Jerry, do you have any final words you'd like to share with us about this experience?
I would just say this. Lauren was talking about being honest, and that is very much true. There are programs out there to assist folk who either have money and are or a little bit of money and are attempting to build. Then there are programs out there who assist folks who have in incomes, but there was a bump in the road. But the key to getting help is showing that you can support yourself after receiving the help. So, and I was involved in one of those years ago, and folk lied, oh no, I don't have any money. And we did the denial after denial after denial. And a couple of folk came back and were like, well, I need this, I need that. How come you didn't help me? You told us you didn't have any money. You had no means of support. Therefore, our program was based on helping those with money, but who suffered a bump in the road. And that's when, oh, well, this actually helps me. I'm like, but you said you don't have any money. So after it was discovered that the program was actually meant for them, we had actually run out of money. So they basically harmed themselves because they were not truthful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, even those who might have a little bit of funds saved, who might get a little bit more in their pay checks than the others, there is still help out there for you. However, to get the appropriate help you need, be honest. Be honest. Be honest.
I think we can all agree that it will serve us in the long run.
Yes, it does.
Maybe not, it might not appear to have value in the short term,
Yes.
but in the long term, being honest will begin to show your integrity, your character,
Yes.
and that will then affect and establish better relationships that will begin to serve you well into the future. So
Yes.
I agree with you at 100% that we should be able to help facilitate honesty in, I think, in our communities, and it serves its purpose in a lot of different ways.
Yes.
Ladies, I really, really appreciate you all coming out tonight and sharing your insight and expertise. How can people get in touch with you all if they have other additional questions or to learn more about what you all are doing?
Well, I have I am no longer receiving clients. I have maxed out my pro bono capacity, but do call Maryland 211 for resources regarding food, shelter, electricity, water. But utilize your MCO for mental health psych services. I will try to get my information out there so that you can book with another licensed counselor. But sadly, I have just taken on my last person as of yesterday. So I am
Okay.
maxed out.
Okay. No, I fully understand that. The the resources that are available in that regard, I get it. But again, all of those free resources are one thing. But if someone wanted to reach out to you on a pay for hire, is that possible?
Um, it is possible with approval through my full-time employer. As we talked about being honest, we do have an ethical clause.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as it is approved by my granting authority for pay for hire, there are definitely some opportunities. Individual organizations do reach out for training and professional development for their staff or their clientele.
Okay. All right. And Jerry, are you affiliated with anyone or anything?
Well, at this point in time, I am still employed with the state, and because of that, there's limitations to what I can do. However, you may just get in contact with me if you go through the process and you're seeking help. I oftentimes get calls from the public because I can assist. I'll just say that.
Do you all
Calls,
have any? Are y'all able to take email questions and things like that?
uh, I, I would say have the public email you. You can send all that to us, and then we can respond, and they will get our emails that
Okay.
way.
All right.
Okay.
That sounds great. We've done that in the past with professionals that have come on. They've contacted us, and then we forward the information on to the guests. So
Yes.
we really appreciate that. Again, thank you very much. I'm going to put you back off stage. Don't go anywhere though while I wrap up the show, and then I will spend some time there with you after the show. So I'm going to put you on the back. Don't go nowhere. Give me a minute. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you, and I will talk to you shortly. Thanks. Well, thank you again, guys, for being here. I want to thank the people who showed up and got some comments. William, Thank you. You were talking about the workers. We appreciate that. I hope this information has been beneficial to, again, all of you. Again, if you want to know more about them or about their services, you can email me at info@clearjourney.org. Let me put that email up there. There it is right there, info@clearjourney.org. And I will get that information to them. We are hopeful that we understand that, again, if you're in need for anything, the 211 was what she's talking about from Maryland. And look for the help. Be willing to accept the help. Be reaching that people. It's there for you. Again, thank you for being here tonight. And as always, in closing, we can't change life, but we can surely help you navigate it. So until next time, we surely hope you will have a great evening, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Again, remember, starting next week, we're going to be in the same time slot, but we're going to be airing some pre-recorded episodes from its life, and I hope you'll join us and be a part of that. So again, we'll look forward to seeing you again live in September. Thanks again. Have a great evening.